society's idealization of architecture and of culture in that sense. It's funny with the Polytechnic, the piece that's in the show, I hadn't visited that when I started the piece as well. Actually, I hadn't visited the topics. Then I went back and, I started the piece.
And for you, what was that experience like? I mean, was it?
It wasn't that interesting. I noticed one building was missing, but otherwise it wasn't. Otherwise it was actually, I was impressed at how well they came.
Yeah, I find that the film Polytechnic, which you'll see in the exhibition, it's installed here, I find it to be very romantic. I mean, do you feel, yeah, like they're like, it's like a love affair with the building, kind of. It's like it's a really, like it's a love note or something, or
it is.
Yeah.
It's like an homage.
Yeah.
And
but the feeling when you're standing there, when you were finally there, did it feel anything like that?
It's not that feeling. That feeling has to come through the photographs that were taken of the building at that time.
Right.
I'd say it's a different sense, a different sensation actually going in and out.
Yeah.
And standing in front of those buildings.
Well, that's another thing I think it would be important to talk about today is the relationship of photography, architectural photography, to the way we've come to understand modern architecture. And certainly that's something that for Monica and I, in crafting the exhibition and putting parameters around it, it was clear that the photographs of these spaces have had an enormous impact on the way that we've come to understand them. And maybe Monica, you could say a little bit more.
Well, I think that one of the issues with modern architecture and its current stereotypes is that since we absorb it or we experience it through the photographs, they're basically mental spaces. We don't have the textures, we don't have human scale, we don't have, if it's dirty, if it's loud, if it's noisy. So I think that that's what we've absorbed as modern architecture, and that's basically an impossible also. We see these photographs, they're very rational, very clean, stark. We think that this is also tapping into a lot of your words, because that's why we probably don't see human presence. We probably feel this kind of like impossibility of humans to actually develop all the aspects of their personalities in these spaces. We have the video of Dorrit McGrider also that has like these kind of intermissions of sexual desires, also exoticism, but
otherwise they're these serene, this ideal,
empty, even mechanized, even like the architectural elements have been modernized to open into without humans, for example.
And that's what goes on in this, exactly what goes on in this video we just showed here, was where you have little clips of kind of activity, of human activity in the spaces, and of course the people disappear and you're left with these kind of perfect architectural photographs.
Which is, I think, it comes back to the crisis of architecture. We know we can create these pristine, rational, idealized spaces, and we also know the impossibility of actually inhabiting them, or at least that's the sense we get in a lot of the works present in this show. So is that the drama that we're currently living? I mean, we do also have a lot of presence of landscapes, and in some cases, probably it's only nature, the one that's able to inhabit these spaces, or that it's the perfect counterpart, which is also an impossibility, and it's also idealized. It's not the nature that we have today. Probably your version of nature is a little bit more accurate to what we find today. So I wanted to touch upon this. Is that a counterbalance? Are we actually, do we have in this, is there a sense that these pristine architectures only counterpart could be an exotic nature?
I don't think the architecture is uninhabitable. I think the class of the architecture is uninhabitable. I think that the class barrier of like really well-made buildings, at this point, great even public low-income housing now is like tourist living spaces. Like people can't afford to live in them. I mean, like that's one big part of it. I don't think there's for a lot of the buildings that still exist, I don't think that there's any problem with inhabiting those buildings. I think, like, we just went to the Eames building in LA, and the Eames house, and it's basically like loft living. It's like a loft, it's like every loft I've ever been in Tribeca, right? It's designed the same way. I think it was used as a model. But the point is that these buildings are built and they become iconic, and then people have no access to them anymore. And I think that's why we can only see them in photography. And I think that's what happens with like everything in the society that becomes commodified. So I think modernism went from being a great idea to something that was commodified and then fetishized, so that higher level of commodity, that nobody can afford it. That's, I mean.
Well, and while we're not able to afford or live in these complete spaces, there's certainly parts of those things that filter through, whether maybe it's not the buildings themselves, but certainly the rest of the design, furniture, the large windows, the open, facades.
Yeah.